They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel, pop a sign in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah, coming with a vengeance.
You understand that, Sis Rose? God's laws are the truth, right?
Take it out.
So we want to be about truth now, right? We've been in Christianity lies for so long, right? We think that by giving money, we're going to go to heaven, right? Do you know how to get to the kingdom of heaven, Sis Rose, according to the Bible?
Follow the word.
Follow the word. Love God. Okay.
Take care of your brother and follow the straight down path.
That sounds real good. That sounds real. Let's see if the Bible agrees with you. I think it does. Go ahead, read that.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16.
So, before we read it, this is a young man that came to Christ, and he's going to ask him a question. Okay, Sis Rose, read that.
And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?
All right. So Christ is going to tell him what he has to do, right? Okay, read it.
And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good?
So the first thing Christ said is, why you calling me good, right? Read on.
There is none good but one, that is God.
So his Father's good. You see what I'm saying? That's what Christ said. He was a very humble man, right? But he was austere, he was serious, and he spoke with authority. Okay? Read on.
But if thou wilt enter into life.
So now he's going to answer the young man's question. The young man said, how do I get into heaven, basically? Now Christ is going to give him the answer. Read it.
Keep the commandments.
Keep the commandments. Similar to what you said, Sis Rose, but it's more than 10, right? Right? Do you know what today is? Let me ask it this way. What day of the week is it? Is it the first day? The second day? So Sunday's actually the first day of the week, Sis Rose. Saturday is the seventh day, right? So we're going to read what we're supposed to do on the seventh day of the week, all right? Read that.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
So the Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week, and it's going to tell us that, right? All right, read on.
To keep it holy.
To keep it holy. So we're supposed to keep God's Sabbath day, which is what we call Saturday today, holy, right? Read it.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So that's why we asked what day of the week it was, right? Because it says 6 days we're supposed to labor and do all our work, right?
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So what day is today, Sis Rose?
Seventh.
The seventh day, right? So the fact that you came up, I really appreciate that, right? But since you're here, we got to ask you questions, because what we are here to do is not just to be heard. We want our people to understand what this Bible is talking about. We want them to know what they must do to get to heaven. That's what we read right before this, right? You got to keep the commandments. And one of the main ones is to remember. Read it again from the top.
But the seventh day.
From the top.
Yes, sir. Remember the Sabbath day.
So that's one of the things we got to do. We got to remember the Sabbath day.
To keep it holy.
And keep that thing holy, right? Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
Right.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
And now it's going to give us a little bit more details on what we got to do on the Sabbath. Read it.
In it thou shalt do any work, not do any work.
So are we supposed to work on the Sabbath day? No. Read on.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant.
So at this time, when this was written, we had servants, right? We had people that work for us. Today it would be like your employees. You got that other mic working yet? We got employees if you own your own business now. That's what it's talking about. So if you own a business, Sis Rose, on the Sabbath day, it's supposed to be closed. You see that? None of your employees supposed to be working on God's Sabbath day, right?
That's right. That out. Nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate.
So in that time we had cattle, we had farms, we made our own food. You know, we grew it and everything. So we're not supposed to have our cattle like plowing the fields and stuff like that on the Sabbath day, right? It's real plain and simple.
It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31.
We're still dealing with the Sabbath day, right? Okay.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath.
So like your Cash Americas, your Family Dollar, you know, these are people of the land. They got their wares out there. They got things for you to buy. They got clothing, things of that nature, right? That's what this is going into. Read it.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
Should we buy on the Sabbath day, Sis Rose? No. So these are just simple things that our people need to do. We've been in Christianity all our lives, some of us, right? They never taught us this.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Every Sabbath day we go out buy, we go out and sell, we eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, things like that. Then on Sunday, which is really the first day of the week, they don't even keep that as the Sabbath. They say that's their Sabbath, right? But you go out to Golden Corral after service. They be cooking downstairs in the basement, right? But this is saying don't cook, don't work, don't do any of that on the Sabbath day.
That's
all right? Finish it out.
Or on the holy day.
On the holy day, there are also other holy days that are considered Sabbaths, right? Let me ask you this. So we're going into the Sabbath, right? But let me ask you, do you know your nationality, Sis Rose? African. What part of Africa do you come from?
We came from Central Africa. The only reason I know that is I have an aunt that's in the genealogy, and she traced us back.
She traced your genealogy. Okay, all right. But let me ask you this. How did you get to America or your ancestors?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Hey, we got to talk about it because first thing we read was the truth. The truth is going to make us free, Sis Rose. So deal with me, right? How did you get to this side of the world? Through slavery, right? Through slavery. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture. Let me show you a picture. This is a negative thing in our history, right? But it's also one of the greatest things that we'll ever know.
That's right.
Because the Bible says the children of Israel will go into slavery for breaking God's commandments. Things like the Sabbath day, like we was reading. So look at down here at the bottom. See them right here, picking the cotton in the cotton fields and things like this. This would only happen to the children of Israel, Sis Rose, and we're going to deal with that, okay? All right, so let's go to Deuteronomy 28. We're going to show you that. So feel free to look at these. They're here for you to look. We got all kind of pictures and things like that to get us in the right frame of thinking, Sis Rose, right? Christianity, when you go in there, if you look at your Sunday school books, they got that image right here, right there, on a lot of the information in the Christian churches. But the Bible doesn't describe Christ like that at all. It's more like that. All right, all praise. All right, so go ahead and read that. What you got?
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So hold on. What does hearken mean, Sis Rose? Listen. Sis Rose, I like you. You on point. You on point. But we're going to keep going. We're going to see if you stay with me. All right? Read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
We've been talking about the commandments the whole time, right? So Moses is speaking to the children of Israel right after we came out of Egypt. And he's saying if you won't listen to what God tells you to do and keep his commandments, something's going to happen. Read it.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
This is what's going to happen.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses is saying if you don't listen to God, if you break his commandments, curses are going to come upon you.
That's right.
So with that thought in mind, what would slavery be considered to you, Sis Rose? A curse or a judgment, right? That's what the Bible's talking about.
That's
all right. Finish it out. That's it. All right, let's jump down. Just get to the point. Let's go to 68. Because we're talking about slavery, right? So Moses goes through a series of curses that the children of Israel will become under if they didn't listen and they started breaking God's commandments. But this is the one that deals specifically with slavery. Read that.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So Sis Rose, you said we came over here on slavery, or actually you made me say it, right? But tell me, what mode of transportation did we get over here on? Ships. Read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. Now we got a picture of that too. Here it is. Right there. You see them slave ships? Tight packing. They have loose packing. We've all seen these images, right? They showed them to us, movies like Roots. They showed them to me in school. Did they show it to you in school too, Sis Rose? This is all they really told us about ourselves, right? And they meant it as an insult. They meant it like, we're better and you're below, right? Right? But now reading the Bible, what does it tell you when Moses tells the children of Israel that you will go into slavery on ship? What does that tell you, Sis Rose?
That it's following the book.
It's following the book, and what does it say about your nationality? What group of people will go into slavery on ships? The Israelites. The Israelites.
That's right.
This is the truth that our people need to hear and start to deal with, right? So look, let's go over to this side over here, Sis Rose. Right over here. Now I want you to look on here, on the 12 tribes, right? So which tribe would you be from? On the right side, this is what our oppressor or the slave masters calls us, you know what I mean? And on the left side is what the Bible calls us. So look on there and tell me what tribe you're from, Sis Rose.
Bring it out.
And it will be according to your father. So whatever your father is, if he came from the West Indies, or if he came from Haiti, he came from the West Indies.
So they're Benjamites.
Benjamites. Right. So you're from the tribe of Benjamin, Sis Rose.
That's right.
So we talking about the truth, right? Now you know your true nationality according to this Holy Bible.
That's
you
right.
told me your people, you may be saying, but you told me your people came over here on ships, right? In slavery. That happened to the children of Israel. You told me that your father came from the West Indies, right? So that means you're from the tribe of Benjamin. That is the truth, according to the Holy Bible, Sis Rose. These are the reasons why Christianity is false. They don't teach us these things. Right. We've been sitting up in there for years, hundreds of years.
Right.
Your mother, her mother,
right.
all been up in that Christian church. But it took you coming to talk to the prophets today to find out you from the tribe of Benjamin.
Yes.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.